Hi, my name's Sheehan, and today I'd like to talk about Sherlock Holmes, The Sign of Four, the second novel written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about the great detective, first published in 1890. And I'd like to go through the plot, structure, as well as the themes that run through this story. Now, I guess if you could sum this book up, it's about a plot to recover hidden treasure which goes terribly wrong and results in murder. And we begin the story with Holmes and Watson in 221B Baker Street, of course. And Holmes has got a chronic case of ennui, of boredom, a listlessness, a restlessness about not having any mental stimulation, not having any cases to solve. He's rather depressed, and it's here he says those great lines which I always think of Jeremy Brett saying, because I remember him saying it in the great adaptation on TV in the 80s. But I love this line: "My mind rebels at stagnation. Give me problems, give me work, give me the most abstruse cryptogram or the most intricate analysis, and I am in my own proper atmosphere. I can dispense then with artificial stimulants, but I abhor the dull routine of existence. I crave for mental exaltation." And what are these artificial stimulants? Well, it's cocaine. I always find that rather shocking in the Holmes stories, but yeah, Holmes is using cocaine to get him through this difficult patch, much to Watson's dismay. Anyway, Holmes's prayers are answered in the form of a new case presented by a young woman called Mary Morstan, and she wants Holmes's help because her father has disappeared. He's come back from India. He agreed to meet her at a hotel, but he just didn't turn up. And the second thing is she keeps getting these pearls sent to her monthly through the post. Perhaps the two are linked. And Holmes and Watson agree to go with her to meet someone who's likely to know about this stuff outside a London theatre. They go there and they're taken to this house where they meet someone called Thaddeus Sholto. And Thaddeus Sholto's father served in the army, Major Sholto, with Mary Morstan's father. And Thaddeus reveals that actually her father is dead. Major Sholto indirectly caused his death by withholding some treasure owed to him, which was from India. And that gave him a heart attack, and Major Sholto got rid of his body. But then Major Sholto died, Thaddeus's father. And on his deathbed he told his sons, Thaddeus and his brother Bartholomew, about the treasure. And it seems that Thaddeus has felt that Mary is owed some treasure from this and is sending her pearls through the post. Now, Thaddeus's brother is in possession of the treasure, and he seems to be a bit like his father. He doesn't want anyone to get their hands on it. So they go to Bartholomew's house to see if they can speak to him about this, shed some light on this whole situation, see if Mary can get what she's owed. But Bartholomew is found dead in this rather grotesque pose, and it turns out he's been poisoned by a dart, and the treasure is gone. Holmes, in his own inimitable way, examines the evidence left in the room, and he realises that there was a one-legged man there with a wooden stump, and also a very short man who's able to get in through a hatch in the ceiling and get the treasure and go the way he came in. A scent's left behind on this rag, kind of creosote, I think it is, and which is connected to the criminals. So with the help of a dog Holmes and Watson hire called Toby, they go on this hunt through London looking for this this particular smell, looking for the culprits. And they're led to a boatyard eventually by the River Thames, and it turns out that a one-legged man has hired a steam launch called the Aurora. Holmes was helped in finding this information, of course, by the Baker Street irregulars, the kind of street urchins who help him from time to time, led by Wiggins. Eventually there's this hair-raising chase along the River Thames, Holmes and Watson and the police chasing this guy called Jonathan Small, who's the guy with the wooden leg, and this little guy, a small man, indigenous from an island on the Indian Ocean. And eventually this little guy called Tonga tries to kill one of them by shooting a poison dart, but just before he does, he's shot and he's killed. And the Aurora, this boat, is captured with Jonathan Small on it. And Jonathan Small, with this big treasure chest, is taken back for questioning back to Baker Street. Before Small is questioned, Watson takes this treasure chest back to Mrs. Morstan, because he believes it's rightfully hers, but they open it to find it's completely empty. And but Mary is quite relieved about this, and so's Watson. They feel it's a bit of a some kind of spiritual barrier in their lives. And indeed, Dr. Watson and Mary, they actually love each other, and Watson's attracted to her from the beginning, and this kind of romance blossoms for the book, and they declare their love for each other, and they end up getting married eventually. It's a rather charming subplot in this story. Then in the final chapter, Jonathan Small tells his story. Basically, he was caught up in all these kind of adventures in India and in the Indian Ocean as well, on these islands, and he was in prison, and he cut a deal with the guards, including this shady Major Sholto figure and Mary Morstan's dad, and these Sikh guys who know where this treasure is, and the four of them decide to split the treasure between them, but they're double-crossed by Major Sholto, took the treasure for himself, and with the help of Tonga, this native guy, Jonathan Small vowed to get vengeance and to get what was rightfully his treasure. But he didn't want him murdered. He felt that was Tonga's doing, his accomplice. But it turns out Jonathan Small had chucked the treasure overboard into the River Thames while he was being chased. So the treasure is still at the bottom of the River Thames. So that's the story. It's quite a complicated plot, actually, but it's an enjoyable novel. Holmes comes across as this rather fascinating but flawed person, you know, with his use of the drugs and this kind of depression he's in. But then the sheer joy he experiences when he gets the case, and yeah, psychologically Holmes is intriguing in this novel, and the love story between Watson and Mrs. Morstan's lovely as well, and I love the Baker Street irregulars, and Jonathan Small and Tonga are, you know, memorable villains. The classic themes of of hidden treasure, of vengeance, of murder, of rivers, of boats, all crop up in this. London, of course, India as well. India plays a big part when Jonathan Small's talking about how the treasure was discovered in the first place during the Indian Mutiny in the 1850s. So yeah, it's a really entertaining read, and but perhaps what stays with you the most is Holmes himself, I think. Just that sense of mental turmoil he's in, and how he just craves a good case for mental stimulation. Anyway, I've just left a brief slideshow of what each of the chapters roughly are about, and the themes. Thanks for watching. Bye.